Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of trading with the Visual JForex, we are going to continue our work with the algorithm development using simple moving average. This is the third part in this ongoing series involving the SMA. We are working with this simple moving average to design a simple system to which is going to be easy to understand, which is going to be easy to build, and at the same time, we will try our level best to make it ensure that it is profitable. Of course, we want all the algorithms we develop to be logical and profitable. I had given you the idea, the logic behind it in the last session, and we had even added couple of these basic building blocks for the algorithms. We have put in place these two conditions for the execution of the trades which are fundamental to the trading setup. Then we got these SMA blocks with different applied price, which is I think is yet to be changed. Here we have these four SMA blocks for the comparative purpose, and along with that we have the min max are also needed to see how the range is evolving, because we want to go with the trend. So we want to see that the SMAs are moving in which direction. We want to see how the min max, whether the maximum is on the rise or it is in decline. So all these things can be considered and compared using these indicator blocks on the Visual JForex platform. Let me change the applied prices here. We will do the algorithm involving the high and the low prices. So we need high price of the current SMA and the low price of the current SMA. Here I will change the time period to 24 so that we have the average price prevalent over last 24 hours, that is one single day. The candle period is hourly here. I'm going to change this as well to 24. All right, then again SMA, I think we need one more SMA here, because instead of 4, no, not really. Here these are 4 SMA blocks, and this one needs to be changed as well. Here is the high price, so I will apply the high price here, change this to the low price, and the candle period will be changed to 24. All right, this will be changed to high price and this one to the low price, just for the sequential purpose, nothing else. Otherwise, even we could have kept the low price instead of high price. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is this calculation period is set as per our requirement, which is to get the average price, the moving average price over last 24 hours. Here I will change the look back period to 24 to get the price prevailing 24 hours back. But I feel that if we go for such a long duration comparison, we won't be that nimble. I want to ensure that our algorithm picks up the changes in the momentum much more faster. So I feel for the look back period, comparative calculation period like 6 hours is good enough. So we will look at the current SMA price and the SMA of 24 hours, 6 hours back, and see whether it is on the rise or whether it is declining. All right, so these are two in place. Then the min max needs to be also well defined. Here the calculation period is going to be 24. This one also 24. All right, and for the comparative purpose, here I will take this gap between the min max of the current min max and 24 hours back. Now here we will see the comparison between the prices, the range prevailing now and the range prevailing way back. So we have these indicator blocks in place now. With this, we are in a position to do the comparison of the momentum, whether it is bullish or bearish. Now the logic is fairly simple. I want the trade to happen with the strategy of buy on dips when the momentum is bullish and sell on rise, sell on rally when the momentum is bearish. So for that, the trade execution has to happen below the SMA of the low price when the SMAs are on the rise and the min max range is on the rise when the maximum output value is higher than the maximum value prevailing a day back and the minimum value is higher currently than the minimum value prevailing a day back. And at the same time, the SMA currently should be higher than the SMA of the high price 6 hours back, and the SMA of the low price currently should be higher than the SMA of the low price 6 hours back. Then the execution has to happen below the price, the low price, and for that we can take into consideration the closing the output value, and it has to close below the low price, and if that is the case, the execution will happen. You can also take into consideration certain consolidation level that is also possible to define. So instead of executing the trade straight away when the price drops, you can even go for the look back period, maybe define the condition that the trade execution should happen after the price dropped couple of hours back, and then if it didn't really change the moment, and the momentum remained the same, we will go for the execution of the trade. So maybe a condition like the look back period of 3 for the change in the momentum for the drop is going to be good enough. So we will do that as well. I think we need to add historical candle for that purpose. So I'm going to need info. Here is the get historical candle. All right. Now let me define it. The candle period needs to be changed to hourly, and the look back period will be 3. Okay. After that, I bring in multiple action. Here it comes. Then we need to define two sides separately, one for the execution of the buy trade and one for the execution of the sell trade. Okay, now let me again explain to you the logic behind it. For the execution of the buy trade, the SMA of the high price should be higher than the SMA of the high price 6 hours back. The SMA of the low price should be higher than the SMA of the low price 6 hours back. The current minimum should be higher than the minimum 24 hours back. The current maximum should be higher than the maximum 24 hours back. Then the historical candle 3 candles back should have closed below the SMA of the low price, and after that, if there is recovery and the trend doesn't really changes, then the execution will happen here, somewhere here. The new trade execution would have happened. All right, so we now go back to defining it, and we will invert the conditions for the sell side. Here, if we see that the trend is in the bearish way, the current SMA is below the SMA 6 hours back for the high and the low price, and the current minimum is below the minimum 24 hours back, along with the maximum, which is also below the maximum 24 hours back. We'll go for the execution of the trade when the historical candle 3 hours back, 3 candles back, was above the SMA of the high price. So somewhere around here, the trade execution would take place. That is how the system is going to be. Now we head back to the Visual JForex platform and start adding these conditions using the if-else statements. The conditions are simple to execute. All we need is to define these in a appropriate manner. First, let me do the comparison for the SMA. The SMA, current SMA, should be higher than the SMA of the high price 6 hours back. Line 10 needs to be greater than the line 12. Line 11, the SMA of the low price needs to be greater than the SMA of the line 11 needs to be greater than the line 13, which is the SMA of the low price 6 hours back. So this needs to be defined. Then we do the comparison of the minimax, the current minimax values. The current minimum needs to be greater than the minimum value 24 hours back. Then we need the same to be applied for the maximum. Current maximum needs to be higher than the maximum value 24 hours back. So this again needs to be greater. Now we start putting these blocks here. Okay, we have done the comparison of the SMA and the minimum and maximum. Now we need to see if the hourly candle 3 hours back, 3 candle periods back, and closed below the SMA of the low price, current SMA of the low price. So for that we need the candle 18's data. So we need to replace loop viewer because the candle 18 is a array of the data points. So let me bring in info logical. Alright, here is the loop viewer array of data. Here it comes. Let me, no, I think it is not allowed. So what we can do is see the auto created variables. Here it is, candle 18. Alright, we don't really need loop viewer. Instead we can get the candle 18 candle close from this panel on the left side and do the comparison. Candle 18 candle close needs to have been below the SMA of the low price, current SMA of the low price, which is line 11, and the trade execution will take place. Okay, so this is it. We have put in place these conditions involving the SMA and min-max. So now let me go to the trading component, open at market, buy trade will take place. Candle 18 candle close needs to be less than line 11. We are not going to make any changes in the default parameters. Now I will start building the sell side of the equation. So for that we are going to need 5 of these logical blocks of if else statements, and then one open at market block. 1 2 3 4 and 5, then trading of open at market. Here we do the same comparison this time around. The momentum needs to be bearish, so we need the SMA of the high price, current SMA of the high price, to be below the SMA of the high price 6 hours back. So for that, line 10 needs to be below line 11. First input less than second input. And then we need the SMA of the low price to be below the SMA of the low price 6 hours back. So line 11 needs to be less than line 13. After this, the comparison of the minimum and maximum value needs to be done. So the current minimum needs to be below minimum value 24 hours back, and the current maximum needs to be below the maximum value 24 hours back. So here again less than, and we need candle period data to be in line with our need, which is the candle 18 candle close needs to have been above the SMA of the high price, current SMA of the high price. So for that I'm going to need to do the comparison of candle 18 candle close with line 10, which is the SMA of the high price, current SMA of the high price for 24 hours. So with this, we have defined the conditions for the execution of the trade. Minimum needs to be lower, maximum needs to be lower. And then the candle 18 candle close 3 hours back, 3 candle periods back should have been greater. And this time around we will go for a sell trade, sell on rally approach. The input parameters will be kept as it stands, no changes here. With this, our simple algorithm is ready. Let us now test it. Save draft. Okay. Now I will export it in the Java format. The export done. Algorithm 2024. Now we are in the month of September. So let me create a new folder. Okay. Saved. Now I am going to go back to the JForex platform. I need to zoom out a bit. There is already one algorithm which we created in the last week of August running. Now I'm going to add another one. This is the current algorithm which we completed today. Let me compile it first. Compilation successful. Then we test it. Visual mode so that we can see the trades happening. We'll test it over last week. Account remains as it is. Euro USD is our instrument of choice. So let's the fun begin. Alright, our test has started. So here is the outcome. Initial equity has now risen to the final equity by around $5 to $6 because the lot size was quite low, so there was not much of an increase, but still one trade ended up in profit, one trade ended in loss, but with the risk reward ratio on our side, with the favorable terms. We saw that more money was made even with the 50-50 ratio of the distribution of win-loss. So I feel here our job is done. We have created a simple algorithm which is prima facie is looking profitable. We have adopted a buy on dips approach and sell on rally approach while continuing to work with the trend. We want to go with the flow. We want to see how the trend is. So to that extent, things seems to be working well, and we will need to test it for much larger period to get a clear-cut idea of how it is going to work. Still, it seems reasonable. So this is it from my side for today's session. If you have any query regarding these algorithms we have developed, you can write to me in the feedback, and I will be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous time ahead. See you next time around. Till then, goodbye.